In the heart of Chicago's trending Wicker Park neighborhood, on the city's northwest side, sits a young shop that deals old media. Shuga Records specializes in new and used records. The format that dates back to the golden era of recording has caught the attention of a new generation.
I was like addicted pretty much as soon as I had a job, which was probably 14, bagging groceries. Like pretty much my whole paycheck went to baseball cards and records.
For almost 30 years, Minnesota native and store owner Adam Rosen has been collecting records. After working on the entertainment side of the industry, the young disc jockey began selling records out of his home.
It started in Chicago, early 2000s, when I used to DJ in Chicago. When I kind of realized that I wasn't going to make money DJing and I hated doing what I went to college for, I started selling my records out of my loft in Logan Square, way back in the day.
Soon after, Rosen packed up his collection and returned to suburban Minneapolis to properly launch the venture.
Started a real, I would say, like incorporated business out there, because starting something in Chicago was just a pain at that age for me.
Back home, Rosen's reception was weak, and he felt like Chicago would be a better market.
It was compared to here, and you don't have the international traffic, so it kind of made sense to move it back here.
When it came time to move, the young enthusiast turned entrepreneur had accrued a collection of almost 250,000 records.
But when I moved it back to Chicago in 2010, we moved here with like 5.5 semis. So it was more of a serious endeavor, I would say.
After 3 years of running the operation out of a warehouse on the city's west side, Rosen finally found his ideal location on Milwaukee Avenue, just a couple blocks away from John Cusack's famed record store in the movie High Fidelity.
This store called Championship Vinyl. It's located in a neighborhood that attracts the bare minimum of window shoppers.
But Rosen wasn't the first to take note and set up shop in the rapidly gentrifying neighborhood. He was up against two Chicago mainstays.
Reckless has been here forever, and we purposely opened by them because they're doing it right. With that being said, all the record stores like them are still missing things. So we try to just get those missing things.
While Shuga carries a wide selection ranging from house to hip-hop and every sub-genre of rock imaginable, Rosen likes to feature independent groups and gives artists the freedom to experiment.
I mean, local is really what we try to focus on, and not just like the big local stuff. It's like anybody that comes in and has a record, just not CDs, record or cassette or a 7-inch, we buy it, we don't consign it. The weirder it gets, the more I want it here.
Even though Rosen strives to set Shuga apart, he maintains a friendly rapport with his neighbors.
I think we definitely bring a little game to this street. So I think the other record stores maybe have to step it up now, and they have, which is good. If you don't have competition, you're just gonna be you're just gonna be content on where you're at. So I don't know, maybe I was here to light a fire under some people.
Rosen's goal is to make Wicker Park a destination for collectors.
And I know there's people that go to both stores too besides us, but that's what I want. I want somebody to be like, do I go to Lincoln Park where there's one record store, or do I go to Wicker Park where I can hit 3 record stores, a used CD store, and go maybe another mile and hit another 2 record stores?
Recorded sound is a relatively new invention in human history. Dating back to the late 19th century, Leon Scott's phonautograph and Thomas Edison's phonograph paved the way for modern-day vinyl records. In 1894, Emil Berliner began marketing a lateral cut disc that would eventually supplant Edison's cylindrical design. In 1931, RCA released the first commercial long-play record, or LP, establishing the vinyl record as the consumer's choice for physical media, a position the format would hold until CDs entered the arena in the 1980s.
With the boom of the internet, the rise of streaming services, immediate access to almost any song imaginable, the recording establishment was turned on its head, and consumers began looking for alternatives.
Digital streaming music came out, and the drawbacks are becoming more and more apparent to people. I mean, it's like if you do you have interest in ownership of your music, or do you want to pay to rent it from Spotify every month?
Maximum Pelt Records founder Magic Ian started a Chicago-based label to help his friends release their music.
With me, I mean, I'm a small independent label. The largest run of anything I've ever done is 500 copies. But I also have never once signed a contract with any band that I've put out music for. My only mission is to assist artists on their journey to becoming, established in the way that they want to be.
As more young people turn to vinyl for their listening experience, industry numbers have risen. For the first time since the 80s, some projections have the format reaching over $1 billion in sales. But is the fascination with vinyl new?
My personal opinion is I don't think there's a resurgence necessarily in people being interested in physical media. I think the phenomenon is that people are finally realizing how limiting digital media is.
You're just seeing more kids are buying stuff because the record labels are finally making stuff that the kids want. In the 90s and 2000s, they weren't making enough of the records that people wanted.
Record companies were super comfortable in the CD era putting out stuff that was basically all filler and just, with a single on it.
While the current numbers look good, is the format here to stay?
We're at internet where it's fat now. You can literally order a record while you're on the bus or while you're on the train. If, somebody does a crazy release on their website. When Kendrick Lamar at midnight, puts 1,000 records signed on his website, you can be anywhere and buy it. It doesn't matter if you live in, the middle of nowhere.
The vinyl trend isn't relegated to independent artists. Some of the biggest names are introducing vinyl to a whole new generation.
If Miley Cyrus is putting out her new album on vinyl, if Carly Rae Jepsen is putting out her new album on vinyl, then, that's at least going to turn some heads to the people who care about music like that. They're a very attractive product, or they're a very attractive item. I mean, it's not that hard to get somebody hooked on the notion of owning this mysterious disc that contains music, and you can see the grooves on it, and you can see where the song starts and ends, and you everything. Maybe it's on a colored vinyl, maybe it's got a gatefold, maybe the artwork is just so unbelievable, maybe it came with a cool poster.
What's next for vinyl? In a city that wholeheartedly embraces the format, Shuga owner Adam Rosen is confident that young record stores who listen to their customers will have an enduring history in the Chicago music scene. Reporting for Good Day DePaul, I'm Andrew Stevens.